Another week's in the books in Linkin Park history, so let's recap what's been happening. Hi, I'm Ashley, and welcome to Aftermath, where we talk all things Linkin Park. This week, we got Over Each Other, the third single off of Linkin Park's new album, From Zero. The video is accompanied with a music video directed by Joe Hahn and has seen mixed opinions. The song features Emily Armstrong as the soul singer, though you can kind of hear a little bit of Mike harmonizing. But it definitely, to many fans, seems like it maybe shouldn't have been a Linkin Park song, but rather maybe an Emily Armstrong solo. And I'm just gonna point out that Linkin Park already had songs where Chester was the sole voice and not so much Mike. Obviously, a lot of people are still on the fence about whether or not to like Emily or whether her voice fits, but my argument here is just they've already had songs similar to this, their lead vocalist singing. This is the same thing. Might take some getting used to, but I think it's a solid song overall. But that dropped this week. We also, the same day, got announcements for Zoetrope vinyls, the ones that animate when you look at them while playing through your phone. So that dropped. Those are orderable if you want them. And Mike Shinoda also designed a handful of cassettes, cassette variants. So if you want to get something with Mike's art on it, those cassettes are also available in their shop. So those are basically the releases for this week. Some vinyl, some cassettes, and a new song with a new music video. At the same time, Linkin Park has been slowly building up their performances for the year. We've got Sick New World Festival, that's April 12th in Las Vegas. They will be headlining. That show has Metallica, it has Evanescence, it has Mastodon, Under Oath, Testament, Orgy, Dope, Queens of the Stone Age, Ministry, Gojira, 3 Days Grace, a bunch of others, Cannibal Corpse. So that's in April. On April 12th, a Saturday at the Las Vegas Festival grounds. They've also announced Sonic Temple, that is in Columbus, Ohio. It is a 4-day festival with Linkin Park headlining on Saturday. If you're looking for that Saturday show, Incubus, I Prevail, Hoobastank, we've got Jimmy Eat World of Mice and Men, who were supposed to tour with Linkin Park. Actually, they did slightly tour with Linkin Park in 2015 on the Hunting Party tour, before the tour got canceled due to an injury Chester sustained. That day has Grandson, which Mike Shinoda has worked with before, Under Oath as well, Devil Wears Prada. Other days also include Korn, Bad Omens, Metallica, Rob Zombie. Metallica has 2 days, Friday and Sunday. Alice in Chains, 3 Days Grace. So many of these bands are similar to Sick New World or are at Sick New World. But in case you can't make that April date, this is May 8th through 11th with Linkin Park on May 10th, 2025. So they've announced 2 new festivals. One that LP live flagged is Nova Rock, that is in Austria in 2025. The Wednesday date has Korn headlining, the Friday date has Slipknot headlining, and Saturday has Electric Callboy headlining. Notice I didn't say who's headlining Thursday. That's because it's listed as TBA currently, so people are speculating it will be Linkin Park. This is supposed to be June 11th through 14th, with Linkin Park playing on the 12th if they are to play that festival. So we will be keeping an eye out. If they are playing that day, they would be playing alongside Motionless in White, Iggy Pop, Polaris, Poppy, Apocalyptica, and a few others. Keep an eye out for those if you're looking for them to be touring. One thing I am noticing a trend of is that they are signing on to a lot of festivals right now. That's probably because trying to keep everything hush-hush for so long to not ruin their return announcement, they weren't able to book a lot of venues, especially a lot of these larger ones where you've got people like Taylor Swift booking 2 years out that someone of Linkin Park's caliber probably should have been booking out 2 years but weren't. So festivals seem to be the pretty easy thing to hop on. The date's already set. They're just looking for bands, so throw yourselves at them. This did actually bring things up to my brother, who was talking about this with me. He was worried that some of our local venues who have held Linkin Park in the past, and we've seen Linkin Park at them, probably wouldn't end up getting them this year But my argument is that they're smaller. They probably don't book out as far as a place like Madison Square and these fairgrounds and a lot of these places that they've clearly been trying to get into. So there is a chance, if Linkin Park is saying that they're heavily touring this year, that they might be taking some of these places, slightly smaller venues, at least in the United States, just to be able to tour rather than worry so much about the size of the venue. And that's not to say that they aren't going to aim high. It's just if they are heavily touring like they claim that they will be, you might have to settle. Settling's not the correct word there, but if you're trying to attach yourself to festivals, as many as you can, because those dates are already secure, that probably means that there's not a lot of wiggle room in these larger stadiums as well. So that is that on that front. Also, if you haven't yet, I highly encourage that you check out It Starts With One, The Legend and Legacy of Linkin Park. That book just dropped this month. I'm about a third of the way through. I mostly spend about 20-30 minutes each day reading, so it's like a chapter or two at a time. But it is really fascinating. If you haven't, obviously we all know the general history of Linkin Park, but it really does bring things into perspective, especially from an industry insider's point of view. Jason Lipschitz is a Billboard writer, so he's worked with Linkin Park a lot, has had to interview Linkin Park a lot of their colleagues and stuff as well. So it's really cool to read that book and kind of get a sense of the landscape at that time. Many of you probably remember what life was like in 1999. A lot of people don't, like me, who was a baby, basically. But it is really fascinating to see, especially in the nu metal genre, how things were changing so rapidly at that time, and how Linkin Park was able to just build their success off of, obviously, their own luck and skill, but the climate at the time. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, I will put the link for the book down below on Amazon. Ebook is also available. I'm not sure about paperback, but ebook and hardcover definitely exist. I know a lot of people have been grabbing it. I know a lot of people have been loving it so far. I find it fascinating myself, just learning these bits of history that aren't normally made public. But yeah, that seems to be about it. Just a handful of festivals, no solid Linkin Park concerts on the horizon yet, other than the handful in November. Once again, that's Paris coming up. We've got Dallas on November 8th. We've got Colombia November 11th, and we've got Brazil on November 15th and 16th. If you're looking for tickets, I know that Dallas has not sold out yet. A pretty cool experience. I will be at the Dallas show. My brother and I will be doing the Pit Premium experience, where we'll get in early. We get to see some cool stuff, have a couple photo ops, and hopefully meet the band. They haven't exactly expressed that, but you'd figure if you're offering up something that big that you would at least pop by and say hi. So we'll see how that goes, and we will absolutely be covering that later on after the concert. One more thing to mention, they have slowly been announcing listening parties in advance. I believe that Linkin Park themselves have confirmed England to some LPU members who've gotten emails. I've heard rumblings about Hamburg or just somewhere in Germany, and these are like rather early, like a week or so early. So if you are close to one of those, or you happen to get the email, humor it. Indie record shops also will probably have listening parties the night before, so pay attention to socials for your local shop. My anticipation is that ours will have one on November 14th, the night before, leading into midnight when they can then sell the album. So I'm trying to get to one of those. We'll see. But if you want to support a local shop, humor that. Go to it. Let me know your thoughts on everything I've recapped. Put your thoughts in the comments below.